Hello, and welcome back to Gods and Monsters. Today we will continue our exploration of Norse cosmology. In our last episode, we learned of the beginning, how everything came to be. Today we shall examine the realms that make up the cosmos, and the mighty world tree that shelters it all. One thing to bear in mind before we begin is that it is pretty much impossible to visually represent the structure of the universe of Norse mythology accurately. So it's best just to regard any maps or visual depictions of the Norse cosmos as visual aids to get a sense of the structure of the Norse universe as opposed to actual visual representations of the Norse cosmos. The Norse never actually tell us in any real detail how the realms are arranged, so we can only really guess at this and make artistic interpretations. I hope that makes sense, but long story short, just take any maps or artistic depictions of the cosmos with a pinch of salt. Anyways, let's begin the episode. So get comfortable, and let me tell you of the 9 realms and the great world tree, Yggdrasil. There are 9 realms in total, 5 of which we have already explored in my last tale. There's Niflheim and Muspel, the primordial realms of ice and fire that existed before all others. There is Jotunheim, the realm of the giants, Midgard, the home of mankind, and Asgard, realm of the Aesir gods. Then there is Elfheim, realm of the light elves, creatures whose beauty outshines the sun itself. Their home is a reflection of this beauty, a land of radiance and splendour. Nidavellir is the labyrinthine home of the dwarfs, also known as dark elves, those creatures shaped from the maggots that writhed in Ymir's rotting flesh. But don't let their humble beginnings fool you. Dwarfs are superb craftsmen, their creations rivaling or even surpassing those of the gods. Vanaheim is the realm of the Vanir. Like the Aesir, the Vanir are a pantheon of gods, though as you might expect, these two tribes of deities do not always see eye to eye, and the great war between these two pantheons of gods will be the subject of another day's story. Finally, there is Hell, named after its ruler. This is the land of the dishonoured dead, a bleak realm where those who did not die bravely languish. All of these 9 realms are sheltered under the boughs of the great world tree, Yggdrasil, which serves as the axis around which the cosmos is arranged. Yggdrasil is an ash tree, though it is one greater and more perfect than any ash tree that ever was or ever will be. Yggdrasil is so massive that it defies mortal comprehension, and it grows between and through the 9 realms. So massive is Yggdrasil that its highest boughs are capped with snow and buffeted by fierce winds, while its roots extend deep into the underworld. As we explore this great tree, we shall start with its roots, which are so vast that they protrude into 3 separate realms. The first great root plunges deep into the dark heart of Niflheim, drawing from the spring of Yrgelmir. Deep in the bubbling waters of this spring lives a dragon known as Nidhogg, who gnaws upon this root of Yggdrasil. Nidhogg is a foul being of insatiable hunger, and he also chews upon the corpses of the dead in Nastrond, a bleak coast in the realm of Hell, where those guilty of the most grievous of sins are punished. Snakes coil in a vast canopy above the guilty, and drip venom upon them as they suffer there on the shores of Hell. Thankfully, Nidhogg appears to be confined to the underworlds, along with his serpentine kin, who writhe in the darkness and gnaw upon the deepest roots of Yggdrasil. It is said that the great dragon may one day break out of the underworlds, though whether he will do so to seek redemption, or wreak havoc upon the lands of the living, who can say? Perhaps we will find out at the end of the world. The second root of the great tree extends into Jotunheim, drawing from a well belonging to a being called Mimir, who guards the well and serves as an advisor to the gods, such is his wisdom. This well is said to bestow great wisdom upon any who drink from it, but Mimir guards this wellspring of knowledge diligently. The third and final great root of Yggdrasil stretches into Asgard, the realm of the Aesir. The root draws from a great well known as the Well of Erd, and it is here that the gods hold their daily councils, though this well does not belong to the gods. It belongs to Erd. Erd is a Norn, one of 3 Norns that tend the well. The 3 Norns are maidens who care for Yggdrasil, lathering its roots in mud and ensuring that the great tree drinks deep of the waters of the well. Their other duty is to decide the weird, or fate, of all of us. Erd represents the past, all that has happened to you during your life. The other two Norns are named Verdandi and Skuld. Verdandi means becoming, and she deals with your present and what is currently occurring in your life. Skuld means that which is intended, and as you might imagine, her role is to decide your future. And so, from your very first breath to the last gasp that escapes your lips, the Norns watch over you and lay down the path that you must walk in this life, be you god or mortal. Now, there is a peculiar creature that dwells between the realms, scurrying up and down the trunk of great Yggdrasil. This is the squirrel, Ratatosk, and he busies himself stirring up trouble between the other denizens of the tree. Ratatosk scampers down the roots of the great tree to speak to Nidhogg, listening to the insults of the raging dragon. Ratatosk clambers up high to the topmost branches of Yggdrasil, and there he relays these insults to the great eagle that lives there, and the hawk named Veðrfolnir that perches upon the eagle's beak. The eagle is a wise creature who knows a great many things, but he is not immune to Ratatosk's gossiping, and informs the squirrel precisely what he thinks of Nidhogg, so that the squirrel may relay this to the dragon. This cycle of insults is endless, and the mischievous squirrel appears to delight in this game of his, stopping every now and again to gnaw on the great tree. Though Yggdrasil is great and perfect, the mighty tree suffers. Not only does it have Nidhogg and his foul kin gnawing at its roots, Yggdrasil must also endure its highest branches being constantly grazed upon by 4 great deer named Dain, Dvalin, Duneyr, and Durathror that run amongst the boughs of the great tree. Mighty as Yggdrasil is, parts of it are rotten and peeling, and the great tree must suffer the predations of those creatures that feed upon it. This serves to remind us that nothing is eternal. Not us mortals, not the gods, and not even the great tree. All things must die one day, so that new life may bloom and take their place. This is the way of things, and we must not forget this. But for now, Yggdrasil endures, groaning and sighing, but enduring. I hope you've enjoyed this quite short episode of Gods and Monsters, quite heavy on the cosmology and world building, but I hope you found it interesting. On the next episode of Gods and Monsters, we will be talking about the Aesir, those gods that dwell in Asgard, and I'll cover some of the most notable among them, figures such as Odin, Thor, and Balder. Until then, take care. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this episode. I'd really appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time.